Silly Americans, can you not see that the peasants are the ones that need to follow the law? But not us elite, not us, the politicians. This is the motto of the Democratic Party. Rules for thee, but not for me. Do as I say, not as I do. I don't know if you were aware, but the city of Minneapolis has voted to abolish the police. They're going to do it within a year. Apparently, that's their plan. But for some reason, three members of the city council are paying for private security. Why is that? Is it because they know that without police there could be crime? There could be spikes in crime. Do they not know that? This is the problem that I have with the Democratic Party. They tell us to live a certain way, but they do not follow their own rules, right? They tell us we don't need police, and yet they have private security. They say you don't need guns, peasants, and yet their security has weapons. Well, a good example is Alyssa Milano. She tells people you don't need guns, and yet she owns two. This is the problem that I have with a lot of these people, is that they claim that they want us to live a certain way because it'll make the world a better place, but yet for some reason they don't follow their own rules. Maybe because they know that their ideas are a bunch of nonsense, and they know that if they get people who are dumb enough to believe them, then they can just simply be leading the sheep to the slaughter, or the lamb to the slaughter, whichever term you want to use. Like I said, these members of the city council, three members of the city council, they voted yes on abolishing the police, yet they have private security. If they really believe that police are the problem, why don't you just walk around Minneapolis at night by yourself? I wonder if these people are going to treat you nicely, which I doubt they won't. This is the problem with the Democratic Party. They only care when it affects them, or even then, they only care when it is you who is taking the damage, not them. I don't know if you were aware, but the mayor of Seattle, I think her name is Jenny Durkin, on June 11th, she said that we could have a summer of love when it came to referring to the Seattle Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHAZ/CHOP, whichever you want to call it. She said, oh, it's a summer of love, it's peaceful. And yet, 5 shootings later, at least the ones that were reported, she is now closing down CHAZ, and it's a good thing to say, right? But the mayor actually decided to say, you know what, I'm going to put my foot down. For some reason, the mayor of Seattle has found her spine. It took her, almost a month to find it? But why would the mayor of Seattle dare to use police on something called, in the way she described it, as the Summer of Love? Why would this mayor want to use police to shut down this Summer of Love? Well, maybe because the Summer of Love that she was referring to came to her doorstep, and that is when she got concerned. Look, and I want you to see this, because this is the problem that I have with many of these politicians and many of these celebrities, for that matter. These celebrities, they don't have a problem with these people taking over neighborhoods and destroying businesses and burning them down. They don't have a problem when it happens to you, the everyday American, the peasant, the way they think. But when it happens to them, all of a sudden it matters. Remember when these celebrities in Beverly Hills were saying, oh yeah, burn it down, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, hell yeah, I support this. And yet, behind the scenes, they were doing everything in their power to ensure nothing like that happened in Beverly Hills. Why? Because they're okay when the peasant gets their home destroyed, but they don't want their homes destroyed. Remember that guy who literally posted a tweet that says, burn that S down? And yet when the same people he supported came to his neighborhood, he called them animals. This is the problem that I have with these politicians. They don't seem to realize that even if they openly support the actions of the left, they're still going to come for them. The left hates these people. They're a virus. That's what they are. They're a virus. They will target anything and anyone. But this is what I want you to see. These people, they want the peasants to take the damage. They want the peasants to have their lives ruined. But the moment it gets to their doorstep, then they sing a different tune. This mayor, she was all for the Summer of Love known as CHAZ. But the moment the people went to her front door, she said, you know what, I'm going to put my foot down, I'm going to end this. Now, props to her for actually finding her spine. But I will criticize her because we all know why she did it. She was threatened by these people. That's why she had to put her foot down, because now she was being negatively affected. She didn't lift a finger when it was the everyday Americans suffering at the hands of these CHAZ people, or the way some people, or the way Tim Pool likes to call them, Chazistanis. It actually makes sense. But she didn't lift a finger when the Chazistanis were hurting everyday Americans. But the moment she got negatively affected, that's when she had to put her foot down. That's when she had to put on her big girl pants. This is the problem that I have with some of these politicians and a lot of these celebrities. To us peasants, they don't care if our neighborhoods get burned down. They'll even cheer them on. They say, burn that S down. But yet, they don't want the same thing happening to them. Why? Do their lives matter more than ours? Does this mayor, is she doing this out of the kindness of her heart? Or maybe because she was being threatened? She was on the chopping block. Pun intended. We all know why they're doing this. We all know why they do this. Because they want the peasants to suffer. But the elite, the celebrities, the establishment, they want to be protected. Like this mayor and like this and like these 3 council members in Minneapolis. They don't want the peasants to have police. Now, granted, I don't rely on police as much because I'm an American, and like an American, I believe that I have a right to bear arms, and in any situation, I usually just call the police as a cleanup crew, get rid of this corpse for me, which hasn't happened yet. But considering how things are going on now, I might actually have to call the police as a way to say, hey, officers, yeah, some guy actually tried to break into my house. The guy is dead. I shot him 3 times in the head just for assurance. Can you send somebody to pick this corpse and remove them off my property? Right? Now, like I said, some people do need police, though. But these people, apparently the people in Minneapolis, the council members, they voted to get rid of police. They say the peasants don't need police. Police are bad. But we need private security because we are not peasants. Peasants do not have class. But we, the noblemen, the elite, we have class. We are more deserving of security than you. But do they not realize that by doing this, they're only pushing the everyday American towards Donald Trump? Here's why. And I'm going to explain to you how I'm very confident that come 2020, we're going to see a lot of people voting for a lot of politicians who are pro Second Amendment, who are pro police, and who are pro Donald Trump. And here's why. With many cities and many politicians abolishing or even defunding the police, that means there's going to be less cops, which means less people are going to feel safe. So what's going to happen? People are going to go buy guns. A lot of people, especially when the pandemic hit, they were buying guns. Even the governor of California, my dear governor, Gavin Newsom, he said that Californians are responsible for their own safety. You know what I did? Yeah, I did. I armed myself to the teeth in the sense that I find it sufficient because he's right. I agree with him. No one is responsible for your safety except for you. I am responsible for my safety and I have a right to protect my property and myself. So when this happened, a lot of people, a lot of liberals who were first-time gun buyers were shocked. The process that was very tedious when it came to buying a gun. And I'll tell you right now, in California, it's very tedious, very time-consuming. Not impossible, but very time-consuming. They were surprised when they were buying guns, saying, "What do you mean I have to wait 10 days? Can I just give you more money so I can get it now?" There was even a viral video about this gun shop owner who said, "You voted for this." He was annoyed. He was happy that people were buying guns, but he was also annoyed at the people who didn't know that the gun control that they voted for is affecting them, not the criminals. So during the pandemic, we saw a lot of gun sales literally increase. They spiked. It was awesome to see. But now, with the whole rioting taking place, with politicians telling cops to step down, well, when the cops aren't doing anything, armed Americans, they get their guns and they start defending and they start doing the job of the cops, establishing order, at least what they view as order. And right now, a lot of Americans are going out to buy guns because they have lost faith in the politicians because they're pledging to either defund the police or abolish it, like in Minneapolis. So what happens in 2020? Well, a lot of Americans at that point are going to have guns. A lot of them, including liberals. So when the liberal hears the Democrats say we're gonna increase gun control, we're gonna make it harder for people to own guns, the everyday American, a lot of the first-time gun buyers who now know how tedious it is to buy a gun while being a law-abiding citizen, they're gonna look at that Democrat and they're gonna say, "I'm not gonna vote for that guy. It was hard enough to buy a gun as it is, and they're gonna make it harder? No thanks. What's that? Donald Trump is actually supporting my right to have a gun, well, I'm gonna vote for that guy. That's why my stance for not voting for Hillary or Trump switched to I'm voting for Trump. Trump supports free speech. I support free speech. Trump supports the Second Amendment. I support the Second Amendment. That's one of the few things that I consider in a candidate. Now, granted, Trump could do a lot of better things. I think he could improve a little bit better on foreign policy. But overall, the guy agrees with a lot of the things, in my perspective, when it comes to the domestic sphere. I have a right to own guns. I have a right to express myself however I see fit. That is why I support Trump. So this is what I mean. And again, it might be a little cocky, but imagine Biden and Trump on the debate, right? A lot of at this point, a lot of Americans have guns, including a lot of liberals, first-time gun buyers. They buy guns because they want to feel safe because their police are either gone, they're not doing their job because they don't want to show up to work, or maybe because there's less police in their area. Now they own guns, and imagine hearing Joe Biden saying, "Well, we're gonna increase gun control. We're gonna make it harder for people to own guns." Those people who have now known the process of getting a gun under gun control states, especially some of them are very tedious, they're gonna look at Joe Biden and say, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna vote for Trump." That is, if they want to. Maybe they're not gonna vote at all. But this is the problem with the Democrats at this point. At least not Democrats, but some politicians. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's the motto of the current leftists and Democrats. Most Democrats. They don't want us to have police, but it's okay for them to have private security. They will call a violent occupation a summer of love, but the moment that summer of love comes to your front door, all of a sudden you start to tear it apart. You tell police, go into CHAZ and then tear it all down. Why? Because now you have seen what that summer of love really is. These people are only going to help Trump get reelected. Everyday Americans now have guns. They're buying them in droves. They're buying them in massive quantities. You really think they're going to vote for that Democrat who's going to say, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s. Hell yes, we're going to take your semi-automatic weapons. They're going to look at that guy and is like, nope, I'm keeping my gun, thank you very much. These Democrats, they want to say, abolish the police, and yet they don't want us to own guns. Well, you can't have it both ways. They want to say, you don't need guns, you have police. Well, next thing you know, they say, abolish the police. Pick a side, at least be consistent. But hey, maybe that's what happens when these people start realizing that, hey, rules for thee, but not for me. That's why I walked away from the Democratic Party. Maybe, who knows, maybe I might return to that party once it becomes a little bit more grounded and it makes a little bit more sense. But until then, I'm going to keep voting Republican. And even then, I will still call out the party, because I do believe the Republicans, they lack some leadership. I think Ted Cruz is actually one of the few people who actually has some bite when it comes to their policies. But a lot of Republicans, at the same time, they're useless as well, because they will complain, but they don't do anything. So what's going to happen next? I don't know. But this is videos to show you that these politicians who are saying abolish the police, they don't care about us. They say we don't need police, and yet they will get private security. They will not stop in occupation of violent extremists until they get negatively affected. Goes to show you that people only care when it affects them. So I don't know what's going to happen from this point on. I think right now Trump, I think, is on a way to turn to a victory, because he's the only candidate who's going to support everyone having a right to own guns, especially during a time like this. A lot of cities are getting police not showing up. Atlanta's a good example, the blue flu. And Minneapolis has voted to get rid of the police. So what's going to happen next? Well, we'll have to do something to make us feel safe. And that, what makes us feel safe is going to be guns. If I don't have police to protect me, well, I got to protect myself. And that means I got to get guns. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, share this video, helps out a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think it is a surprising thing that CHAZ has now been destroyed because the mayor has finally realized what Summer of Love really means? Are you surprised that the three members of the Minneapolis City Council who voted yes to abolish the police have private security? Do you guys agree that the motto of the current Democrats is rules for thee, but not for me? And do you think that the Democrats and these celebrities truly care about the everyday American? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.